Hi everybody, it's Marla with the Alma Public Library. Happy July. I am here with you today to go over our take and make craft kits for the month of July for teenagers, grades 7 through 12. So this month we are making these really adorable plush sloths. I have a gray one here. I also made a brown one. You can see I kind of sewed the faces on in two different ways, and we'll get to that in a minute. But your kit is going to have everything you need to make one of these sloths. So you'll have a bunch of felt pieces, you'll have some string or thread, a needle, as well as the template that you need to actually get the shape for the sloth and the mask and the face details and all of that. So, oh, and of course you'll have the polyester fill to kind of make it plushy, right? So, in the interest of time, I'm not going to be cutting out the template and tracing it onto the felt today, because I think you guys know how to do that. So I just kind of pre-traced the pieces that I'm going to cut out here. You can see that on the darker felt, I actually used a white colored pencil to trace on there so that I would see what I was doing, or so I could see the ink, see the outline instead of trying to use black ink on black felt. That doesn't make a lot of sense. So for the actual sloth part, I'm just folding my felt in half so that I have two layers that I'm going to cut through. And that way I don't have to worry about tracing my sloth twice and, are they going to be the same size, that sort of thing. Because you do need two sloths, otherwise you won't have anything to stuff. So, if you're doing this at home, I would actually recommend that you do trace two different sloths with your template and cut them out separately, just so that you don't have to worry about your felt kind of not staying lined up while you're cutting it. But it is up to you if you would prefer to do it this way. Now I'm just going to go in and cut out this section between the sloth's legs. All right. All right, so now I have two little sloths. So I'm gonna actually leave those kind of stacked together, and I'll cut out the rest of my sloth pieces here. I'm gonna start with the white. So this is gonna be kind of this face mask here. It's kind of that heart shape. And then I just drew two circles on here for the eyes. You can cut out the ones on your template and trace it if you prefer. Just whatever you guys are more comfortable doing. And for this part of the tutorial, I'm actually going to use tacky glue to glue the face together and to glue it and to attach it to my sloth instead of the whip stitch that we'll use to actually sew the whole thing together before we stuff it. You can see on this brown one that I did do the whip stitch along the whole thing here. And then on my gray one, I did it a little bit differently. I didn't do a whip stitch around all the facial features, but I want to try it with the tacky glue just to see how that works, because I think it'll give the face just a little bit of a cleaner look. So if you guys don't have tacky glue, you can sew it, or you can use hot glue. I haven't tried super glue with felt, so I'm not sure how that would work or react with it, but it would probably work pretty well. All right, just getting my little eyeballs cut out here. And then I'll get the pieces of his mask cut out. All right. So for the mask, we have the two patches. Ooh, don't poke yourself in the eyes with scissors. We have the two patches that will go over where his eyes are, and then of course the nose and mouth area. I hope everybody is having a good summer so far. It looks like the rain is going to be done for a couple days, hopefully, so we can enjoy the weekend. Let's see, I need my nose here now. All right, so I'm just going to use the tacky glue here to attach everything to the face. I'll do that off camera. You guys know how to glue things together. So to get started with actually doing the whip stitch and sewing your two pieces of your sloth together, you have a lot of string thread that we gave you. It should be more than enough to get your sloth sewn together. You'll just thread your needle and I'm going to go ahead and unroll it all the way, and then you'll want to put a knot in the end furthest from your needle, and a really easy way to do that is just to wrap it around your finger and roll it off with your thumb and slide it down. Gives you a nice tight little knot right there. So to keep your knot hidden while you are sewing it together, when you have both pieces stacked together, go ahead and just poke right through one layer with your needle and pull it all the way through. Oh, excuse me. Try not to get it all tangled up like that. And then as we're sewing, that knot will actually stay hidden inside and we won't even notice it. For our whip stitch, you remember we came in on just one side here. When you come up from the top, you're actually going to come over at an angle on the other side here and kind of poke it through. And as you're pulling that through, it will make it look straight on the top side of our sloth here. You can see that. And on the back side, we have that nice angle. So it's a very simple, straightforward stitch. Of course, if you're an experienced sewist, you can do a running stitch, you can do whatever you're comfortable with, but I find that this is a very easy stitch that pretty much anyone can do, and I think it looks pretty cute on our sloth too. So that is a whip stitch very quickly. Okay, so at this point, I'm actually going to put some stuffing into the legs of my sloth because I have found that it can be really difficult to get the stuffing into the legs when it's sewn up a little bit more. So I am going to do that now before we finish sewing it up a little bit more. And I'm just going to use some smaller pieces and really get it down in there. If you have like a pen or something, that would work really well. I'm using a nail file right now. I've used a 1/4-inch dowel and that worked pretty well. So I would recommend putting the stuffing into the legs when it's easier, like at this point. We are just going to put the rest of the stuffing into it, and that is just as simple as it sounds. I would recommend kind of getting smaller pieces of your stuffing or your fluff or filling or whatever you want to call it, just so that it's easier to kind of manipulate into your sloth here. And we have definitely given you way more than you need for this project. So don't worry about running out before you have as much fluff in there as you want, because there is more than enough. All right, I think that that is enough for me. And then we're just going to do a whip stitch the rest of the way on here to finish kind of sealing it up. Actually, I'm gonna put a smidge more over here in the head, just to finish sealing up the seam here. And I will glue the face on, and that's it. We've made a plush sloth. So kits for this will be available at the library for the month of July, as long as they last. We'll keep them behind the desk since they do have needles in them, and we don't want just anyone getting access to that, of course. So just come up to the desk and say you need a teen craft kit for July, and we will be more than happy to get one for you. With that, if you are not signed up for Summer Reading Club yet, there is still time to do so. You guys can sign up for it when you come in to get your craft kit. And if you get your reading logs turned into me by July 20th, you'll be entered to win an Amazon Kindle Fire. And of course, everybody who turns in their reading log will get a goodie bag and a free book and all of that good stuff. So be sure to come in and check all of that out. So to finish this, you're going to do something very similar to how we got started. You'll only go through one layer of your sloth. And then I always like to just sort of wrap it around one of the stitches that I already did and knot it off that way. There's that. And I'll tuck that inside. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll have to tuck that in later. There we go. All right. So I have the main part of my sloth done here. Now I'm just going to attach the face with the tacky glue, and we will be all done. I'll show you guys what the tacky glue looks like versus sewing it on here, because I think for the face, the glue is a really nice option. All right. Of course, you can always glue the face on before you stuff it too, and that might help with making sure that it doesn't kind of buckle or pop up in weird spots. So that is our face when it's glued versus the face that's sewn on. You can kind of see the differences there. So, like I was saying, these kits are available at the library. You just have to ask for it at the desk. But thank you guys so much for joining us today, and I will see you next time.